Hello, welcome to Edgbaston. This is Polite Enquiries with Jonathan Trott. We've got loads of questions on the same sort of theme. The very first one from MJ Wright 95 is, please may I express nothing less than heartfelt joy at seeing Trotty back playing cricket and scoring runs. This one's Smarty saying, very simple, Trotty, how are you?
Very good, thanks. Yeah, it's good to be here, back playing and enjoying it. Quarterfinals coming up next week against Essex away, so looking forward to that.
And in good form, couple of hundreds in your last 4 innings, I see?
Yeah, it's been going nicely, coming back and feeling in the groove of it a bit again. With county cricket, you're playing so much, you know, you need a couple of games, I think, to get 100% in the groove of it. You always can come back and have as many nets as you like, but getting and spending time in the middle is crucial. So I've managed to do that a little bit, but hopefully can get some more big scores in the 4-day cricket.
Have you been aware of the goodwill that's out there? We've sort of been flooded with questions that just want to say things like, good to see you back.
In fact, most of them not even questions, they're just saying nice things. We're not even going to read them out.
No, because...
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. I really appreciate that. And it's nice to just be back playing and giving back to Warwickshire, where the place that gave me a chance. And, you know, obviously disappointing the way things sort of ended towards the end of the summer and the winter, and you know, putting that behind me and looking forward to what hopefully can be a great end of the season for Warwickshire.
Danny asks, who coined the hashtag Trott Sport? And if you met them, would you want to punch them repeatedly in the face live on camera? Yes is a fine answer.
I get the urge, but I don't really know who it is, so I can't blame anyone until I have hard evidence. Really? That bad?
No, but I did it in a nice way because everyone was abusing you and I thought I'd make fun of you.
You look more uncomfortable than I've ever seen you look.
But, well, you know,
it's quite a steep drop.
I'm just saying, we're not far away from, you know, going over the edge. No, I thought I did it in a nice way, and I thought it was a way of taking the piss out of people who were always abusing you for no reason.
Nah, well,
I'm on your side, you know that.
I appreciate it, don't worry about it.
I'm not sure your career needs an attempted murder at this stage. I don't know.
Probably not.
I'm not sure.
Mind you, I think if he did throw me off the edge, Giles Clark is more likely to put him back in the side.
Yes, that's true. James Connell asks, is it Trott's fault that Hugh Grant's career has stalled a bit since Notting Hill? It is kind of your fault, that one, isn't it?
I take credit for everything that goes wrong. That's good.
Were you aware of that? You kind of bewildered you a bit, didn't it?
No, not really. I don't really pay too much attention to Twitter and that sort of stuff.
I know, but everyone says that. But
well, I do.
You must have been
I'm not on Twitter. I don't really do Twitter, so I don't. I know of it, and some funny stories happen on it and that sort of stuff, but I stay away from it as much as I can.
Arav asks, do you have any plans of returning to international cricket? Doesn't really work like that, does it? Exactly,
yeah.
Plans. I'll be back on February the 2nd.
Yeah, that'd be very nice. But yeah, the guys have done really well against India, haven't they? And won 3-1, so the team looks pretty set. That's in Test cricket, and in the ODI, there's some young good players coming through. So you know,
that's a good goal, though.
Yeah, we'll never say never, and you know, I'm just concentrating on doing really well for Warwickshire. And you know, if I push my case and do really well, then it comes along. That's great. There
were loads of questions about Gary Ballance. You'll have been pleased to see him do well, though, won't you?
Absolutely, yeah. Fantastic to see a guy come in and fit straight into number 3 and Test cricket in general. Really, I think. There's a lot of things that could have gone wrong, I think, in the batting lineup, but Joe Root at 5 looks, you know, very assured there, and Belly at 4 with all his experience is great. So Gary Ballance has done really well at number 3 and really pleased for him.
Have you noticed he's got straight in the slips, and you had to be out at 3rd man and fine leg? Why was that? What was that about? Was it, my theory, they were worried about nits?
No, I used to prefer fine leg because then I had to run and burn calories that way and keep the waistline down. So that was my planning, so I could eat more at lunchtime and at tea.
Michelle Evans asks, which current or ex-England cricketers do you keep in touch with the most?
Bob Willis?
No, I don't have him on speed dial, but a few of the guys, Belly, Wokesy, Nick Knight, Andrew Strauss, you know, all guys that have helped me through my career and I've got on really well with. So it's good to see guys and catch up now and again, especially with old teammates that you don't see as much of. So reminiscing of old times, so it's always good fun.
You never got involved with any of the political stuff, did you? You were always kind of friends with, I don't know, Cookie, KP, Matt Pryor, everyone, really.
Yeah, well, I sort of made it my sort of mission to get on with everyone I played with. It was my understanding as a teammate, you got to go out your way and adjust and sort of to everybody in all different characters. So you know, whoever came along, I tried to get on with them as best as I could and help them as much and make them feel as comfortable as possible.
Do I not remember a Lord's final? I may be wrong. You got KP out, is that right?
Yeah.
Caught on the boundary and gave him a bit of a send-off.
Yeah, well, Kevin and I always had a bit of a rivalry, even from school. I remember him. I didn't face the ball when I played under 19 against him, and he abused me already. So I told him to throw it up, so I hit him over his head for 6, and he still remembers that. So he actually got me out when he played for Nottingham my first year for Warwickshire. So he then reminds me of that. So we're pretty much even.
Ross Lawson asks, how do you think the media have been towards you through a difficult time?
Okay, I think at the beginning it was quite rough, and you know, and it was a difficult time, I think, for everyone and everyone around. But I think people are getting a better general understanding of, you know, what I went through and what's happened, and just feeling really good about playing for Warwickshire and hopefully coming out the other end and doing well and enjoying my cricket. And you know, it's a nice feeling. I mean, this morning before everyone came, I had a net with Graham Gooch and just feeling really good and looking forward to going to training and playing cricket. So it's, you know, it's feeling nice, and we're in the hunt for all 3 competitions, and hopefully we can do well.
How important was it for you to get your side out?
Well, I was watching and feeling really bad. You know, the more I was at home and the more of a beating the guys got in Australia, and the more I felt, you know, a little bit responsible and a bit guilty of, you know, leaving the guys in the lurch a bit. So I felt I had to try and get my case across and say, well, this is what happened, this is how I felt, and you know, some people bought it, some people didn't really, but you know, at the end of the day, I can only be as honest as I was, and I have been extremely, you know, open and honest. Some have said too much, and I've said too much and given too much, you know, honesty for people to judge. But you know, that's just who I am, and you know, I've always enjoyed playing for England, and you know, I loved every minute of it, and you know, maybe get it again one day.
As someone who did one of those interviews, they weren't, you know how I work, they weren't stage managed in the slightest. So we actually went to the pub, didn't we?
Yeah.
And just chatted for a couple of hours.
Was it the Plough?
It was the Plough. And,
Yeah.
and then I wrote a piece on the back of it. And some people wanted to purposely misinterpret things, and some people took it for what it was. But basically it was a guy trying to explain a difficult situation as honestly as he could. And if, you know, that was it really.
At the Plough?
Yeah, at the Plough. We're not
On High
I
Street?
think they're going to give us a free beer for this, because they won't.
2 for 1 in the mornings as well.
Paul Frame asks, what is your favourite Ginster's slice filling?
That's a pie, isn't it?
Yeah, cheese and mushroom?
No, I'm more of a steak and ale.
Steak and ale?
Is it steak and ale?
I don't know, can you get ale on the motorway service
Yeah, you get
station?
steak and ale
I
pies.
think you can.
Can you? Okay. Dan McGrath asks, you never really got a shot at 2020 international cricket despite your domestic record. Any regret, sense of unfairness? And that's a very appetite question, because of course here we are on finals day,
I'm not playing.
and you're not in the side.
Quite rightly, yeah. I mean, the guys have done really well. Obviously, when I opened the batting for a few years for Warwickshire before I played international cricket, we're pretty successful, but we never got to a semi or a quarters. We were semi or a final, always lost in the quarters. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I think I did pretty well a few games, but you know, I messed up one game in Dubai, and Andy Flower never really forgave me. So that was that.
All Cricket asked, did you feel any injustice when KP was sacked? Did you think it was a fair call?
And as I said, it's my job. Well, I feel as if, as a teammate, to get on with everyone. You know, I don't really have sides in the whole thing. I wasn't in Australia as well, so it'd be hard for me to comment when I wasn't there. All I know is Kev been a great servant of English cricket, and the powers that be felt it was time to move on. So you know, they've won against England, and, I mean, they've won against India. So you know, it's worked out okay so far.
There are quite a few questions about Mitchell Johnson. The questions are whether facing him the problems were technical or psychological, that sort of thing.
I was next to him when you were facing him. It might have been tough for you facing Mitchell Johnson, but watching him watch you was tough for everyone in the press box. You cried a little.
I didn't cry, but I did, yeah.
Why did you cry?
I didn't cry. I haven't cried since I was 7.
I was having obviously a few issues that are made public now, but also not with regards to just everything about that. It was more a prolonged summer. You know, the guys, Ryan Harris and Peter Siddle, had bowled really, really well. You know, you got to give them credit when credit's due. You know, Mitch came along and hit his straps, and you know, I wasn't really up to the challenge. I wasn't playing well. I wasn't feeling great myself as a person. You know, away from the game as well. So just caught me at a bad time.
People don't remember. I mean, he was in the attack when you got 100 on debut. He was in the attack when you got the 100 at Melbourne, the attack in the 100 at Brisbane. Well, why don't they remember? It annoys me, it must annoy you.
Nah, well, it's one of those things. You can't really change people's perceptions. People like to have their own ideas and their own thoughts on the game, and they're entitled to them. So you can't really change, everybody.
They're entitled to their incorrect opinions.
Have you ever had, Aditi Verma asks, fish fingers and custard, presumably together?
No.
Why would you? It's an insane question.
I've never even heard of the two of them together, so I wouldn't. Sorry about that.
Listen, we were inundated with questions, and most of them just said things like, nice to see you back, really glad to see you getting runs. So thanks a lot for doing this.
Cheers.
And good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers,